Dope, man. And you told me a little bit about the story of you going overseas
Oh
to
yeah.
train him. So what? Tell us about the story. What happened? Like
Yeah,
flow us
that
through.
was so um I was at home and then James's manager, my boy Troy, he called me and was like, "Yo, like James needs you to work him out for a week in Barcelona." He's like, "He'll fly you out, put you up in a hotel, all that stuff." So I'm like, "All right, cool." Like I'm honored, you know. I was really excited for it. So the day I'm supposed to fly out, we might have been one of the worst flying days in LAX history. I felt like if you've ever been to LAX and you know you have to drive, up that ramp, to make the loop about and all that stuff, like traffic started before that ramp. And I'm 2.5 hours early before my flight, and I'm thinking, dang, I should have got here like 4 hours early of all days. So by the time I, get to my gate, my terminal and everything to check in, check my bags in, I have maybe just over an hour, to get through security check and all that stuff. And I get to the front, and the lady was like, "Oh, like you need to fill out this online waiver for Barcelona, like for COVID." I'm like, "Okay," like no one told me that, and I was like, "Okay, can I do it right here?" She's like, "No, you got to get out of line. There's people waiting." So I'm like, so I get out of line, fill it out, go back in, show her proof, 15 minutes later. So I fill it out, get back in line. 15 minutes later, I'm showing it to her. She's like, "It's going to be really close." I'm like, "Why?" She was like, "If I can't check your bag in an hour before your flight, like you can get on the flight." So I was like, "All right, well, like, let's do this." And so she's typing away and she was like, "Yeah, I couldn't get it." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "So what does this mean?" Like, she's like, "Well, I got to put you on standby for another flight." So I had to take this whole other direction now to get to Barcelona. And so now I'm going to Chicago first instead of Philadelphia to Barcelona. And I'm on standby to put matters even worse. If everybody knows standby, like you're basically you don't have a seat. You're hoping that someone doesn't make the flight so you can get on that flight, right? So my whole life is in the balance of someone missing their flight, which sucks for them, but I need it. Um, to make matters even worse, the flight coming in was 2 hours delayed already. So now that gives that person 2 hours more time to make it to the terminal and, make the flight. But I got lucky, blessed, made the flight. So I'm going. And as soon as we land in Chicago, the stewardess is like, "If you have a connecting flight, you know, get your bag, get up to the front right now, because you're going to have a few minutes at the most to make it to the next gate and everything." So I'm literally the second person. And I'm asking the stewardess, like, "Did you tell the gates to like hold the plane for us?" She's like, "Yeah, like, you got 2 minutes." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I I swear if I could have, I would have been helping them unlock the whole door and like bring everything in, like bring the little tart whatever the ramp in and all that stuff. I was second person and I was sprinting. Me and like three other people sprinting to our gate. And the lady at the front goes, "You just missed your flight." And this was to go to Barcelona. And I'm like, "What?" To make matters even worse, like to add insult to injury, she literally points out at the window and goes, "Yeah, that's your plane right there." I go, "Thanks." Like, cool. So now I'm stuck in Chicago. She's like, "You have to talk to customer service to, see what they can do for you." Customer service couldn't really help me because I had a standby. So they're like, "There's really nothing we can do today." So I'm stuck in Chicago. I call up Troy, James's manager, and I'm like, "Look, like this is what's going on. Like, I don't think it's meant to be. Like, I think this is the universe telling me something, right? Like, yo, like, don't get on that plane. Don't go to Barcelona." And he was like, "Give me 5 minutes." And mind you, he's in the Philippines. So he's doing work in the Philippines right now, total time difference, and having to help me out. And he calls me back and was like, James said that you need to be there. So we need to figure this out. So I find the last flight leaving out of Chicago to go to Barcelona that has a layover in Germany. That flight was leaving at 10 o'clock at night, and it was 7 o'clock at the time I booked it and everything. So we found the flight. The problem was my bag was still stuck in holding, and they were like, "Oh, you can't get your bag till an hour and a half after your flight, or 2 hours after your flight." So I'm like, "That's like going to be like 8:30," and I was like, "I have this flight, it's leaving at 10." They're like, "You're cutting it close." I'm like, "Well, yeah, no, duh. Like, can I just get my bag?" And they're like, "Oh, you have to wait till at least 8:30." By the grace of God, the manager was just watching me just kind of like pace back and forth, and when it got to around like 8 o'clock, he was like, "Have you gotten your bag yet?" I was like, "No, like I'm still standing here." He's like, "Do you see it right here?" I was like, "No." He's like, "All right, come to the back with me." So like I literally went into the back, and there's 400 bags, and he's like, "Find your bag." He's like, "I'm busy, as you can see. Like, I'll find your bag, show it to the lady at the door right here, and you can go." And it took me about 5 minutes. Found my bag. Boom. Go all the way up to check in, check my bag in. Boom. Now I'm on the flight, right? Everything's fine. And then we land in Germany. I land in Germany. I have like an hour and a half layover. Called up Troy, texted him, was like, "Yo, like one more flight. We're good to go." He goes, "Oh, yeah, by the way, KD's coming to work out with you for the week." And I'm like, I text him back. I was like, "Kevin Durant." He goes, "Yes, LOL." And I'm like, "Bro, like what?" Like, he's like, "It's all right." He's like, he just told me, he's like, "Bro, like you got this. Like, it's your show." Like, he's like, I'm like, "All right." So I spent an hour watching KD highlights on Synergy, and just starting to get a feel for KD, downloaded some more stuff so I could watch it on the plane. And yeah, I finally landed in Barcelona after that crazy flight experience, that crazy traveling day. And the next day, we got to the gym, and KD walks in. He just dabbed me up, told him, "Yo, I'm AJ." He goes, "Kevin," and everything. And from the very beginning, he was receptive to everything that I was telling him to work on. Every drill that we did, he bought in. Um, and he messed up too. It's so funny because like you always see like these videos of all the NBA guys working out, and like they'll make five in a row, six in a row, and all that stuff, and they do. But no one really ever posts and shows like when they're missing or messing up, and like how they get on themselves, just like how college and high school kids get on themselves when they mess up. Like it's a natural thing. Like they want to perfect the drill and perfect the move and make the shots just like everybody else. So it was like it was so kind of like surreal to me that first day watching Kevin miss shots and kind of like taking a second to get mad at himself, and then like clocking right back in and making four in a row. Just having both of them work out together, like then I would by like day two or three, like I'm kind of making them compete against each other, shooting workouts, first to five, you know, stuff like that. And they're talking trash to each other. They're kind of like challenging each other. Every time one would make a move, the other one would try to make that move a little bit different or a little bit in their eyes like better to like one up them. And like that little bit of competition that they had, that was just dope to see as they're doing drills that I do with my high school and college kids. Like, so when we got done after like day three, and we still have like 3 days more to work out, I'm literally texting, FaceTiming, calling all my players that I work out. I mean, all of them. And I'm just literally like, I don't want to hear anything from you guys ever again. I go, Kevin Durant and James Harden are listening to everything that I'm saying, buying into it, and going super hard. Like I go, the only difference between them and you guys is that every rep that they take is 100% game speed. They don't take a rep off, whether it's shooting off the dribble, whatever. Like they just don't take a rep off. And at that time, they also like get their conditioning in. Like that helps with their conditioning. I go, and then on top of that, after, like they work out before, so they would lift before, or they would do like an agility workout before, and then they would work out, or they would work out and then they would do agility or strength training after. But even after the workout, they would go do like 2-3 minutes worth of sprints. So like they're doing suicides, they're doing up and backs, they're doing, all this stuff, and they're going fast. Like I would run with them. I'm like, damn, like y'all are kind of fast. Katie's stride is a lot, longer than mine, but I'm like, geez. Um, so I just told them, I'm like y'all don't understand. Like you guys have been doing all these things for so many years now, and to see guys like James Harden and Kevin Durant do them at the speed and level that they're doing it at, I'm like, you guys can go even harder with your workouts. And, I think they understood that. Like they kind of, like I would show them just like a little clip, like 15-second clip that like one of my guys recorded real quick, and I would like send it to them. And they were like, oh my God, like we do that. I'm like, yes, like, don't y'all understand? And not saying that my workouts are NBA workouts. It's just like, you know, people get the same reps, guys get the same reps at every level. It's just the speed, the athleticism, the strength, the spacing is just different, as you go, then of course the skill level gets, higher as you go up. But, I think that kind of like helped a lot of them like get like a light bulb, like boom, like, oh shoot, like I got it now.
That has to do something for your kids too, to obviously to see the same reps they're doing being done by the two of arguably the best players to ever play the game.
Right.
And it also does something for you, right? As a trainer, your own confidence and your own what is that, reassurance that what you're doing
Right.
is the business.
Nah, like, how do I say it? Yeah, I was, I'm not gonna lie, like I was nervous, like that first workout, I was nervous, and I can't remember the last time I was really nervous doing a workout. But to have like James and I were already kind of vibing, and we had spent a lot of time already that summer working out, so we kind of had our own thing. But now to add, Kevin Durant, you know, who is a guy I've been watching since high school. We're almost the same age, you know, um, and to have him there and to work him out is just like, dang, I got like two MVPs right here, like gold medalists, like a NBA champ, like like you said, like two of the greatest players like on the planet right now.
Ever.
I mean, yeah, yeah, top 75, all that stuff. Like, it's something that you dream for. It's something that you like. I don't know, like you think may not ever happen, and all of a sudden, like, boom. Let alone like I'm in a different country doing it, and it's just us in the gym. Like the gym had like, oh my God, it was so. I get like hyped over it because it was literally just one of those. If you've ever been to Europe, like you see these European gyms, they have all these different lines for volleyball and handball, and you know, all these. There's so many different lines and colored lines, and then the windows that they had were stained glass windows and everything, and it was almost like a basketball church, and then they're just two hoops, and you're just like, bro, like this is heaven right now. Like I'm really like doing this, and it was humid, it was hot, like, but there were no cameras, like nobody was really watching, and it was just us in the gym. And I think the biggest reassurance was when like we would get done and James and Kevin would be like, yo, like good shit, like that was good today. And so that just, yeah, hell yeah, that boosted my confidence. Like how could it not?